Hey, good Thursday morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us here on 24 Plus News Live, the 8 a.m. hour. I'm Yvonne Cooper. Let's get straight into your top 5 on this Thursday. First up, the Southern Environmental Law Center is fighting a permit that allows XAI to run 15 gas turbines at its South Memphis data center. Now, they say the health department ignored dozens of turbines already running without permission and skipped important public concerns. And now this case could be going to court. 2, it is a weather impact alert day because of the extreme heat that we've been facing here across Memphis and the Mid-South. Current temperatures right now have you looking in the 80s already at 8 a.m. this morning. So please remember to drink plenty of water, take breaks if you're out there in the sun, and of course, look out for your friends and your neighbors, especially the elderly. Meteorologist Kit Thomas will have a look at your full forecast coming up after your top 5. Coming in at number 3, a 6-year-old girl is back at home this morning, just days after her mom was killed in a shooting. Deputies from 4 different counties lit up the road Tuesday to welcome her back home with love and support. The girl was also hurt during that shooting in Robinsonville, Mississippi. That shooting happened last Friday. Coming up, we'll have a closer look at the man who is now facing charges in this case. Number 4, Methodist South is ending labor and delivery services at that hospital. It all comes as part of the healthcare provider's plan that was announced this week to cut services. Labor and delivery services at Methodist South will now be moved to either Methodist Germantown or Methodist Olive Branch. Later, we'll find out what prompted this change and how it will affect expecting mothers. And finally, at number 5, a Tate County family is still recovering after an EF3 tornado hit in early April. Many homes were damaged or destroyed, leaving families to rebuild or relocate. We're catching up with the Griffin family 3 months later.
Well, temperatures today are going to be up into the mid to near upper 90s out there. It is going to be a very hot afternoon. High dew points in the mid 70s means the heat index is going to be pretty awful out there. We're looking at a range of 100 to 110 across much of the area most of the day here. We're starting off already well above 100 by 11 a.m. We do have a heat advisory around the area for that extreme heat, so we'll have to keep that in mind. Looking at the 3-day forecast, though, the next few days, things do start to cool down just a little bit. That's some good news for us here. 94 on Friday, 91 by Saturday. So eventually those temperatures do cool down. But next week they warm up. We'll have more details on that still ahead.
We are following breaking news from overnight. The Shelby County Sheriff's Office is investigating a shooting at the City Place at Germantown Apartments. This is near the intersection of Bromden Lane and Scanlon Drive in southeast Shelby County. Deputies say that they found a woman lying on the ground with multiple gunshot wounds who died at the scene. Right now, 2 men have been detained, but no word yet if they will face any charges in this case. Right now, a 19-year-old is in jail linked to the death of a Memphis rapper's son. U.S. Marshals arrested 19-year-old Talia Jones in Minneapolis. Patrick Houston Jr., the son of Project Pat, was shot and killed in Memphis last January. Jones was arrested on Monday. She's now charged with facilitation of first-degree murder. A 6-year-old girl is now back at home this morning, just days after her mom was killed in a shooting. Deputies from 4 counties lit up the road Tuesday to welcome her back with love and support. The child was also hurt in that shooting that happened last Friday in Robinsonville, Mississippi. 41-year-old Markello Braxton is accused of killing the child's mom, Nikeria Jude. The child and another man were hurt. Investigators also found Braxton's body in the woods just days later. Continuing coverage now, more trouble is brewing for XAI's data center. Several organizations are now challenging a permit that was approved by the Shelby County Health Department. The Southern Environmental Law Center claims that the permit actually violates federal law and that even the health department's own rules are compromised with it. ABC24's Lauren Turnman has more.
Dangerous and concerning. Those are the words 3 advocacy groups are using to describe the approval of XAI's methane gas turbine permit.
It would allow for the same kind of thing for XAI or someone else to come into a community and without any public notice, without any public participation, and without any air permit, install as many polluting turbines as they want.
Representing the NAACP and Young, Gifted, and Green, attorney Patrick Anderson and others at the Southern Environmental Law Center filed an appeal Wednesday to the Shelby County Air Pollution Control Board.
We challenged the permit itself because the health department did not properly account for the unpermitted turbines that were out there, and they did not account for the law that applies to those turbines. And the second thing that we are appealing is the department's legal rationale that they put forward for the first time, which, according to their theory, would allow these turbines to be installed again without a permit.
The appeal comes after a 60-day notice to sue under the Clean Air Act, sent in June by many of the same groups. Shelby County is already out of compliance with EPA ozone standards, and advocates say methane emissions make that worse. Young, Gifted, and Green President Latricia Adams says this is about setting a new standard.
I see this as a moment of opportunity to get this right and to set a new path forward so that when, whatever industry may come into Shelby County, that we have a new set of rules.
In a statement, the health department said the Air Pollution Control Board operates independently and they do not set hearing dates or influence board decisions.
That was Lauren Turnman reporting. XAI responded just after 9:30 last night in a lengthy and strongly worded statement saying in part, SCLC's baseless, politically driven appeal is riddled with factual inaccuracies, legal fiction, and most importantly, it undermines the diligent and important work done by the county leaders in the properly issuing the construction permit. Meanwhile, the board is expected to respond within a month and schedule a hearing to review the merits of this appeal. The SCLC says that they're ready to move forward with a lawsuit if necessary. We do have a health alert for soon-to-be mothers in the Whitehaven area that you need to know. Methodist South is ending labor and delivery services at that hospital. The news comes as part of the healthcare provider's Path Forward plan that was announced this week. Now, beginning August 1st, labor and delivery services at Methodist South will now be moved to either Methodist Germantown or Methodist Olive Branch. Expecting mothers will now have to travel to a location that is at least 30 minutes away. In part of their statement, Methodist says that the Whitehaven Hospital saw a 43% decline in deliveries over the past 5 years. Currently, the hospital averages 1 birth per day. According to the CDC, this is actually a trend that many hospitals are seeing across the country. In 2022, there were more than 12,000 births in the country, but in 2023, that number dropped by 196. That means for every 1,000 people, the birth rate in the country dropped from 13.4 to 13.3. A Tate County family is still recovering after an EF3 tornado hit in early April. Many homes were damaged or destroyed, leaving families to rebuild or relocate. ABC24 Shakina Davis shares their progress.
From devastation to restoration, I'm here in Senatobia, where families are still picking up the pieces after April's severe storm. Some were forced to leave while others chose to stay and rebuild, but it hasn't been easy.
It's just sad looking at the whole chaos still outside. We've lost all our beautiful trees, but we're here.
The before and after, that's the story of many across Tate County, where more than 50 structures were damaged or destroyed during April's severe weather. The Griffin's family home was one of them.
Every time we see a black cloud or a dark cloud, we think there's going to be a tornado.
3 months later, rebuilding is underway.
Every day we wake up, it's like, okay, we're fortunate to be here, but it's unfortunate that we have to go through this and live in a camper.
They've lived here for about 14 years and say their memories made them stay.
This is where we planted our roots, and kind of hard to pull them up now.
But rebuilding hasn't been easy, especially when it came to finding the right help.
I feel like if we had gotten the contractor that we have now right off the bat, and we would probably be close to moving in. But there's still a lot that has to be done. There was just so much damage.
Despite the challenges, they're still grateful and hopeful.
I'm ready to cook again.
They're also making plans to prepare for the future.
Storm shelter right there.
And their advice to future tornado victims:
Just make sure you got a list of everything you own in your house. Don't let the contractors that show up the day after jump on you and take advantage of the situation, which will happen. And just try to be prepared financially as much as possible.
The Griffins say they're...
All right, that was Shakina Davis reporting. And now we have Scott Mattis here joining us at the desk. Scott, what are you working on today?
Okay, so yesterday, and welcome back, by the way.
Thank you.
You were very much missed. Yesterday, I aired a story, and you might remember this. It was with a woman. Her name is Brandy. She lost her daughter, only 15 years old, to gun violence back in 2022. Mm-hmm. The person who allegedly did this was arrested. He posted bail. Allegedly, it was $10,000, and then he dipped. Yeah. So nobody knows where this person is, and he's not being held accountable or responsible for his actions. I did not air the person's name yesterday because I'm still trying to get a hold of the Shelby County District Attorney's Office and the Shelby County Sheriff's Office to not only confirm the name, which I know is true, but we're double checking, but to also find out what is happening here.
Right, because still a lot of questions at this point.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you read this morning that Project Pat's son, of course, was killed, and somebody involved with that, at the very least, was captured by the U.S. Marshal's office.
In Minneapolis, yes.
In Minneapolis. So, that short time frame versus the long time frame for Brandy and her family is obviously concerning. So I've reached out to the Shelby County District Attorney's Office and the Sheriff's Office again this morning. I will likely hear back from them, and I'll have a full update tomorrow. But I'm also working on another story.
Yes.
Yvonne, imagine yourself stepping out of your house and looking in your backyard, and you see a pile of tires, not in your backyard, but in the business behind. And this is not an exaggeration, folks. This is like a mini mountain.
Wow.
Of tires. And it's in North Memphis off Chelsea. I went over that location yesterday and talked to a couple of people that are just concerned. They've been trying to get answers like what is going on here.
Right.
But to no avail. I went over to the business afterwards, got kicked off the property immediately. But aside from the visual ridiculousness that is this mountain of tires, what is in tires when they're just left out?
Oh, a little bit of anything. I mean, it could be trash, could be bugs, could be animals. I mean, a little bit of everything.
And water.
And water, yes.
What breeds in water?
The bacteria, the bugs, all of that.
The mosquitoes most specifically.
Ugh.
So when you're walking in this area, it's like you're walking through a blanket of mosquitoes.
Can get bit all over the place.
And they are. Yeah. And so that's one of the biggest problems, they say, even aside from the visual disaster that they have to deal with. So today I'm going to be contacting the Shelby County Health Department. I'm also going to be going back to that location with the drone because they not only kicked me off the property, they went and shut the gates so I couldn't see.
I see.
So we've got a drone, Drone 24, and we'll be going back there, and I will likely have that story for you in a day or so.
Yeah, a lot of stakeholders at play. The woman who called you, the business that's there, the health department, and who is actually responsible for getting that out of her yard.
Exactly.
Yeah, so a lot to work on in that story too. You're a busy man, Scott Mattis.
Yes, ma'am.
We appreciate your time. Thank you so much, as always.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a quick, before we take a quick break, Scott, how can people contact you if they have a problem?
That's right. So just text solutions to 901-321-7520. Any kind of problem you're having whatsoever, I don't care what it is, just text solutions and text your concerns. What problem you are having. It's not my cell phone, but like I say, it's the next best thing. I will see your message and I will contact you, 901-321-7520.
Solution seeking Scott. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. All right, now let's reset with a quick break as we take a live look outside using our camera near the flyover. Hope your Thursday is off to a terrific start. We'll be right back after this.
Well, over the next several days, our dew points are going to be in the mid to upper 70s. That's where it gets into the miserable category. And whenever we have high temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, that means the heat index becomes very dangerous. Having this much moisture in the atmosphere means that we don't cool ourselves off efficiently. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about the heat index. It is a human-centric index that we calculate with dew point and air temperature. Today it's going to be as high as near 110 around much of the area. It drops back into the weekend, but we don't have much relief. Next week we've got another dome of high pressure that's going to build in, and that's going to keep us trapped, locked in this extreme heat across the central U.S. It's not just here in the Mid-South. Central Plains are also looking at some pretty extreme heat. We could be seeing a lot of records even set around the area. Here in Memphis in the Mid-South, it doesn't look like we're quite to record territory, but it is going to be record territory for other places around the country. Looking through the forecast today, we're only going to see some very isolated pop-up showers if they do even get started. Maybe a few more by the evening time frame, but again, it's going to be very isolated. Don't take this model as an exact pinpoint of where the storm is going to form. Just in that vicinity across the Mid-South, there may be one or two isolated showers that provide a bit of quick relief of those temperatures dropping very quickly, but it's not going to be a very widespread threat. Looking Friday into Saturday, we start to increase those chances a little bit. It's not going to be a whole lot of rainfall for us. It's just a little more widely scattered. The next week does look dry once again. Your 7-day rainfall totals, as this model loads in here, it's not going to be a lot of rainfall for us. Unfortunately, this model just seems to be taking a little while, but we're looking at less than an inch across much of the area. It's just going to be those pockets that see 1 inch. And a few miles away, see nothing at all. Heat index around 105 today. High temperature around 97 degrees. One of our warmest temperatures of the year so far. Overnight, we hold on to a lot of that heat, staying around 78 degrees. And then through the next 7 days, we've got those temperatures dipping a little this weekend and warming up once again next week.
So far this year, the U.S. has seen its highest number of dangerous floods in about 40 years. That's according to the National Weather Service. As of Monday, the National Weather Service issued more than 3,000 flash flood warnings for 2025. The NWS also says that it issued about 170 alerts just on Sunday and Monday of this week. All right, let's turn to our trending stories this morning. Before everyone's favorite hockey has-been turned golfer returns to the big screen, fans can pick up some sporting gear that's a nod to the film. Two companies are offering Happy Gilmore 2 branded merch, which combine the two sports, of course. That includes the hockey stick putter that Gilmore used in the film. It's going for nearly $500. There's also a set of golf balls. Happy Gilmore 2 premieres in theaters next Friday. Check this out. Fans will take a step back into the world of an iconic 80s cartoon for free. Airbnb and Paramount are offering this Smurf experience in the Belgian woods. That's the country where the show was created. Guests will live like these tiny blue creatures. As you can tell, it's the Smurfs. In a mushroom-shaped house for 4 hours. They will customize their own hats, eat and dance like Papa Smurf and his full clan. The experience actually sold out immediately. This all goes down on August 3rd, and this is all to promote the new Smurfs movie, which will hit theaters on Friday. New this morning, a dramatic rescue after a plane crashed in South Florida. It was all caught on a doorbell camera. As ABC's Victor Okendo reports, people who live nearby risked their lives to save everyone on board.
We're hearing from the neighbors who raced in to help after that terrifying plane crash caught on a doorbell camera in South Florida.
Oh, shoot, bro.
The small aircraft slamming into a tree Sunday night.
Oh my God, they're trying to get him out of the plane.
Narrowly avoiding homes in this Pembroke Pines neighborhood.
It was like a big boom. It was definitely abnormal, right? So I walked outside, and I see a plane on fire. So I immediately jump into action.
The wreckage burning just feet from Torres Jordan's home as he and others used an axe, a fire extinguisher, and a hose to rescue all 4 people on board.
basically broke the glass of the plane. You know, we were able to keep the fire down a little bit, and thank God that everybody made it out safely.
The remaining pieces of that plane, a wing, tail, and fuselage, towed away.
Victor Oquendo, ABC News, Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Wow. Incredible video, incredible rescues for people just jumping in the neighborhood. Good for them. Let's take a quick break and reset as we take a live look using our camera in Midtown into the beautiful downtown Memphis. We'll be right back. In consumer news, you may actually see a bigger chunk of your paycheck going towards healthcare costs next year. That's according to Mercer's survey on health and benefit strategies. It finds more than half of employers say that they're planning to pass higher healthcare costs on to their workers. That means health insurance options could include higher deductibles or out-of-pocket maximums. Companies have seen rising healthcare costs over the past few years. The amount an employer spends on health benefits is expected to jump nearly 6% this year. Meanwhile, Nextdoor has redesigned its popular platform to be more than just a neighborhood network. The app says that it's now focused on 3 fundamental neighborhood needs: real-time emergency alerts, local news, and an AI feature called Faves. That feature is to help users discover popular restaurants, businesses, hiking trails, and more in their area. For local news, it brings together more than 500 news outlets around the U.S. The nation's top 10 housing markets have been announced. According to a study by Consumer Affairs, Colorado Springs, Miami, and Virginia Beach are leading the pack, followed by El Paso, Richmond, Orlando, McAllen, Phoenix, Atlanta, and Greensboro. Analysts say that these markets stand out for their affordability, new construction, and strong economies. With mortgage rates likely to remain steady, buyers are expected to find more options and more competition in those cities. A new study also shows this, that chimpanzees, there we go, chimps, they follow trends too, sometimes for no reason at all. Researchers at a Zambia sanctuary first noticed the behavior back in 2010. One female chimp started tucking grass behind her ear, and before long, the rest of the group joined in. A separate group did the same thing just years later, and it turns out the chimps may have copied staff members who were using twigs to clean their own ears. Researchers say that it's not just ear accessories, that some chimps even adopt signature ways of walking to fit in. But you know what they say, monkey see, monkey do. Makes sense. A new recall of injected penicillin may actually put recent strides against syphilis in pregnant women in jeopardy. Drug maker Pfizer is warning doctors that it expects to run low on supplies of Bicil in LA. That's the preferred antibiotic option for treating syphilis during pregnancy. Without treatment, syphilis during pregnancy can cause miscarriages and stillbirths. Pfizer's warning follows a July 10th recall where some injections were contaminated with floating particles. In the U.S., nearly 130 million people have at least one major chronic disease, and one of them could be rheumatoid arthritis. That's an autoimmune condition that causes swelling, stiffness, and joint pain. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither talks to a patient who is finally living with less pain after taking part in a clinical trial.
About 15 years ago, Dawn Steiner went to bed like usual.
I woke up the next morning out of nowhere feeling as though I had been hit by a truck.
Steiner says she couldn't raise her arms, move her shoulders, brush her teeth, or shower. When the crippling pain didn't go away, she saw a doctor and was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
More than 8 medications failed to bring full relief. Each time Steiner tried a new one, she says it took several months to confirm it wasn't working.
And they all have horrifying side effects.
In 2023, Steiner enrolled in a clinical trial through Northwell Health in New York, researching something called vagus nerve stimulation, where patients have a computer chip implanted into their necks, says Dr. Kevin Tracy.
Simply put, by driving electrical signals down the vagus nerve into the immune system, it's possible to stop inflammation, and that's what the chip does.
Tracy says as many as 50% of patients like Steiner aren't getting enough relief from the medications available.
The FDA, as we speak, is now considering whether or not to approve this therapy for use in the United States.
Steiner says within a week of the implant being turned on, she was already feeling some relief. Now, 2 years post-surgery, Steiner says her life is the best it's been in 15 years.
This has completely changed my life.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
It is finally grilling season, and experts do want you to be careful. Mandy Gaither back again explains why grilling safety is a must.
It's popular, especially this time of year. Grilling is a great way to cook a variety of foods, but it can also be dangerous. In 2022, an estimated 5,400 people were sent to emergency rooms for gas or charcoal grill-related injuries. It can also pose a risk of fire and carbon monoxide poisoning and causes 13 average yearly deaths, according to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission.
Grills are one of the most common accidents we see during the summer months.
Dr. Anna Palmameta with the Burn Center at Brigham and Women's Hospital says July is the peak month for grilling-related injuries. She says she sees everything from minor burns to major ones.
People are mishandling the propane tank or pouring gasoline or lighter fluid directly into the grill, and they sort of have this back force of flame and fires.
Safety experts say only use grills outside in well-ventilated areas. Never use them indoors in a garage, breezeway, carport, porch, or under a surface that can burn. And check the grill and the gas hoses before use, searching for cracking, brittleness, holes, and leaks, and replace if necessary. And never leave a hot grill unattended. Keep children away. Meta says she's had to treat little ones too.
Sometimes, they just kind of put their hands on the grill, burn their hands. different body parts.
Finally, clean your grill to prevent grease buildup, which can be a fire hazard as well. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission said to check their website to see if your grill has been recalled. And if it is on that list, stop using it until it's repaired or replaced. Let's go ahead and take a live look outside. This is using our camera in East Memphis and a beautiful view of Clark Tower. I'll tell you this much, if you're grilling today, you want to do it early because it's just going to continue to get hotter. Our team of meteorologists have declared today a weather impact alert day, so make sure while you're outside that you're staying safe, drinking plenty of water, and staying in the shade. We'll be right back with more news after this. In your national news headlines, for years, President Donald Trump and his Republican allies benefited from some conspiracy theories that fuel the conservative MAGA movement. But now the backlash over files related to accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein has forced the Trump White House into damage control mode. The Justice Department and FBI said in a brief memo that a review found no Epstein client list and confirmed that he died by suicide in prison while awaiting trial. More dangerous weather across the country this morning as storms hit the already waterlogged Northeast. In New Jersey, one man is dead and more than a dozen others are injured after they were struck by lightning. Meanwhile, in New Orleans, people are filling sandbags as they brace for a storm that could bring up to 10 inches of rain. Across the Midwest, multiple reported tornadoes touched down Wednesday night, and in the Texas Hill Country, search efforts continue as the death toll from July 4th's devastating flooding reaches 134. Big changes may also be coming to TSA as travelers may be able to bring more liquids in their carry-ons. U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem said that she is questioning everything the TSA does, including its liquid size limits. This all comes after her announcement earlier this month allowing travelers to keep their shoes on during screenings. Noem says that the TSA's process allows for some changes while maintaining safety, but she didn't clarify what changes those will be or when they will happen. Meanwhile, the Federal Aviation Administration is working to fill more than 3,000 air traffic controller jobs to help.
This is a rare inside look at the epicenter of ending a chronic shortage of air traffic controllers that's burning out workers and delaying flights nationwide.
Academy Ground, Lear, 1 Hotel Delta.
Here at the Federal Aviation Administration's Controller Academy in Oklahoma City, students spend months in classrooms and simulators before moving to on-the-job training at towers and radar facilities that are struggling to retain talent.
How bad is the shortage of air traffic controllers in the U.S. right now?
It's at a full-blown staffing crisis.
The latest estimates say the FAA is short 3,000 air traffic controllers. The newest moves by the Trump administration include slashing the time candidates wait to be accepted here and giving them pay bonuses when they reach key training milestones.
We're thinking creatively on how we can supercharge air traffic control.
Changes are working, with the FAA just announcing enrollment here is now the highest it has ever been. The FAA says it rejects 90% of applicants, and of the students who do get in, 35% wash out. Even still, instructors put me to the test.
I feel confident you can do this.
Thanks for the pep talk.
This high-fidelity control tower simulator is the same one used by Academy students. First, I start out by reading from a script in front of me.
Twin Cessna 310 Mike November, Academy Tower, enter left downwind runway 28 left. I already feel my heart rate going up.
Oh, get ready.
Commander to 27 Golf Kilo, ready for departure from...
Then the program throws more airplanes into the mix, to the point where I have to tell a flight to abort its landing.
Citation 3 Papa November, go around. Well, my first go around.
How's it feel?
Fine. Did I mess something up?
Finally, we are fully off script.
Challenger 6585 Juliet, Academy Tower, runway 28 right, line up and wait. How'd I do?
You did really good.
Do you think I could pull this off if I came to the Academy?
We'll give you 6 more weeks and you'll be fantastic.
We kept this demonstration fun, though the FAA insists this is serious work in hopes of ending its major staffing problem.
I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I don't want to, persuade people to think that's next year. We still have our work cut in front of us, but we are absolutely moving in the right direction.
Pete Mundine, CNN, Oklahoma City.
Yeah, it's a very big job indeed. Let's take a look at the sky back here in Memphis, in downtown Memphis specifically, using the camera in Midtown. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us. Now to a one-on-one with Miley Cyrus. ABC's Chris Connolly sat down with the Grammy Award-winning singer to talk about her new visual album, touring, and taking the stage with Beyonce.
Miley, it's been a minute. How are you?
I am fabulous. Super joyful time in my life that I'm in ultimate, kind of fulfillment with this project. The music itself, the film, I'm just really proud of the outcome.
The many sides of Miley Cyrus, now 32, in league with a host of top collaborators, including her beau Max Morando, off camera and on. All of Miley's mega talents on display throughout Something Beautiful, her critically acclaimed visual album. We see you as a showgirl, we see you as a 60s European film star, we see you on a motorcycle.
And these kind of nuances were important for me, creating something that I feel is really modern and very now, but again, it's really honoring this, these kind of iconic women in film and in music.
It's super abundant with Miley's innate creativity and that unmistakable voice.
I definitely hear myself and go, I have a very distinct voice. I always kind of sounded like this, but it's aged along with me and changed and evolved in all these different ways.
On a recent podcast, Miley noted some vocal cord issues that she's been coping with, stressing to us instead how she's taking care of her voice.
Tell me something I can hold on to.
I've always, I've had kind of a unique texture, and I've gotten really used to working with what I've been given and training appropriately, giving myself boundaries, because I realize how sacred it is to myself and to what I do.
Let's pretend that it's the end of the world.
Miley says there's a different reason she's not doing a major tour.
I do have the physical ability and I have the opportunities to tour. I wish I had the desire, but I don't. I also don't think that there's actually an infrastructure that supports artists.
I just thought we had more to lose.
Miley speaking from experience and from caring deeply about artists who've struggled during their time on the road.
Artists like Prince that are not here today, that live such a high intensity lifestyle out on the road, then it's really hard to maintain sobriety when you're on the road, which is a really important kind of pillar of stability in my life.
It just seems like it's a real meat grinder out there for young people
and
that you went through. Yeah.
Losing their life, but losing their minds. None of this that I create would ever be possible without the way that I think about things. And I do think it's really hard to keep, mental wellness. You have so many thousands of people screaming at you, so dopamine, you're feeling a lot of love, and then you totally crash at the end of the show, and you start thinking that one person loving you is not enough. It needs to be 10,000, it needs to be 80,000.
Are you afraid of feeling those things on a nightly basis?
I like to do things I'm afraid of. I've jumped out of airplanes. I performed for 150,000 people. I stood toe-to-toe with Beyonce.
I love you. I'm so grateful to watch you and to sing with you, Miss Miley Cyrus.
She did. June 19th, Miley joining Beyonce on stage in Paris to duet on the track they co-wrote from Cowboy Carter, Two Most Wanted.
And when you're standing beside her, you can actually feel her desire and her passion.
Don't know what you're doing tonight.
That to me is a win. It's not a trophy. It's not something physical that you hold or put on a shelf, but it's something that I have that's a true win.
Game recognizes game. Miley Cyrus, Something Beautiful, the full-length visual album, will launch July 16th on Disney Plus and Hulu. Chris Connolly, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Music to golf. The #1 golfer in the world is now claiming that winning tournaments no longer satisfies him. 29-year-old Scottie Scheffler has been on a historic run, but now he says his success on the course is no longer fulfilling. Here's ABC's Lionel Moyes.
This morning, Scottie Scheffler, the world's #1 golfer, getting candid about his relationship with the sport he's dominated.
At the end of the day, it's like, I'm not out here to inspire the next generation of golfers. I'm not here to inspire somebody else to be the best player in the world, because what's the point? You know, this is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from a sense of like the deepest, you know, places of your heart.
In a news conference ahead of the British Open, the 29-year-old with more than $80 million in career earnings was honest about his quest to the top, revealing the joy of winning is fleeting.
It's great to win tournaments. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes the feeling only lasts about 2 minutes, it seems like, you know, when you're celebrating, and then it's like, okay, now you got to go do all this other stuff.
While still acknowledging all the work he's put in.
As a professional, to be ranked as the best in the world, I think is a huge career accomplishment. I don't think that it should be taken lightly.
Scheffler has won more tournaments and majors than any other player over the last 3 years, but golf is not what matters most to the husband and father of a 15-month-old son with his high school sweetheart.
I'm blessed to be able to come out here and play golf, but if my golf ever started affecting my home life, or it ever affected the relationship I have with my wife or with my son, you know, that's going to be the last day that I play out here for a living, because, you know, I would much rather be a great father than I would be a great golfer. You know, that at the end of the day, that's what's more important to me.
In 2005, quarterback Tom Brady had a similar take on winning.
It's got to be more than this. I mean, this can't be what it's all cracked up to be.
As for Scottie Scheffler, he did say in his interview it brings tears to his eyes thinking about what he's accomplished, because he's worked his entire life to be good at the sport. Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
All right, some incredible perspective from two great stars doing what you love, whether it's music, golf, whatever it is. Ultimately, that's the win, not the trophies themselves. Makes sense to me. Here's a live look outside on this Thursday morning. We'll be right back to wrap things up after this short break. Here are the top 3 stories you need to know right now. About 160 Methodist Le Bonheur employees are now out of a job because of new restructuring. Officials say that this round of layoffs is part of the Path Forward plan, which stands for Planning, Alignment, Transformation, and High Performance. Starting on August 1st, the healthcare system will consolidate its labor and delivery services at Methodist South with services at the Germantown and Olive Branch hospitals. Tonight, people will gather near the Lorraine Motel balcony to honor a civil rights giant. Indivisible Memphis and BIPOC Indivisible and BIPOC Indivisible Tennessee are hosting the Good Trouble Lives On Memphis Candlelight Vigil in honor of Congressman John Lewis. The event kicks off at 6 p.m. outside of the National Civil Rights Museum. And finally, number 3, the back to school fun is getting an early start in South Haven. Tanger Outlets is throwing a back to school bash this Saturday from 11 a.m. until 1. It's all happening between American Eagle and Adidas, where families can enjoy music from a live DJ, balloon artist, hands-on science activities, and even free cookies. The whole event is free and it's open to the public. All right, check this out. Working at the car wash has been for generations the ultimate side hustle, right? But in New York, one enterprising young woman has found that it's not about washing the cars, or moving them. She actually just sits in them for hours if needed. Here's ABC's Danny New.
People are claiming that women are not good parallel parkers, but I'm incredible.
A few weeks ago, 29-year-old Sydney Charlotte made a career change.
I put good juju out there that there's a parking spot.
And it's taking over the New York City parking system by storm.
Do you live in New York City and need to move your car for street sweeping?
It started with this TikTok video, immediately picking up hundreds of thousands of views.
I'll sit in your car for a fraction of the price of a parking ticket.
As she presented herself as a professional car sitter for hire. One commenter writing, "This is the ultimate side hustle."
He moves them from one side of the street to the other so you don't get a ticket. What, are you paying for that?
Of course, there is a Seinfeld episode with a similar concept, but George Costanza did not have the benefit of social media.
I printed out flyers to hand them out to people, but I haven't even needed to do that.
In reality, Sydney moved here from the West Coast a few months after being laid off from her job and picked up on this sort of loophole herself. Now, all throughout the week, New Yorkers are paying Sydney to move their cars and sit in them during allotted street sweeping hours. And in her experience, police officers do not write you a ticket if you're present.
What do you say to the cop? You just smile and wave?
Yeah, he just smiles. He sometimes doesn't even look at you. This morning I was like, good morning. He's like, good morning.
From there, Sydney will just sit in a stranger's car for hours. I thought that sounded boring at first, but then I remembered young millennials have a trick for quietly passing time, even with company.
Never mind.
Speaking of company, less than a month in, Sydney already wants to expand the business.
Oh, too small.
And next, hire more folks to join her army of professional Big Apple automobile occupiers. And so far,
I have more people sending me their resumes and asking if they can work for me than I almost do customers.
And for folks who do not have someone like Sydney, here is one alternative. This comes from our studio manager, Nick, who says he notices people sitting in their car for hours until the street sweeper comes, and then, as you see, immediately move their car back so they don't lose their precious spot. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
Yeah, that is such a smart move. Hopefully she can size and scale the business. It's a great idea. A lot of people will support it. Thank you so much for joining us here on 24 News Plus, 24 News Live. We appreciate you following us here, of course, and continue to follow us on social media to keep up with the latest news. All you have to do is just look up ABC24 Memphis. And if you miss anything or if you want to rewatch something again, you can. The full show is right here and you can rewatch it for free on 24 Plus. We'll see you tomorrow.
Continue with us and watch free now on the 24 Plus app everywhere you stream.